Hey everyone, my name is Seth. This is the Books Business Growth Podcast where we talk to Amazon sellers, e-commerce entrepreneurs and business owners about their journey, what makes them tick and why they have been successful. So without further ado, please sit back and enjoy the show. Recording. Luke Colwell, welcome to the show.
Hey mate, how's it going?
Yeah, very well, very well. So we might as well dive straight in. It's been a while since we chatted. I haven't kept that updated on what you've been up to. So if you could just run us through how you got started on Amazon, maybe a little bit of context before that, and bring us up, right up to now, which is April 2022, and we can go from there.
Yeah, I did say I only had an hour and a bit, so I'll have to write this in a bit. I started selling on Amazon FBA in August the 21st, 2020. I started doing a bit of RA, and then I transitioned into OA quite quickly because I got fed up with doing RA. Even though I love it, it's so time consuming, but obviously you can earn a lot of money. Obviously, I think you've done it in the past as well. So that's before that. It's the first time I've ever had my own business, Amazon. It's the first time I've ever done any entrepreneurship or anything like that. I've always worked for people. I was working just before COVID. I was working for the US military, selling vehicles to the US military on European military bases. So I was working in Italy and Germany for around about 2 years in total. And then I come back for my 30th in March 2020. And obviously COVID happened then, so I couldn't go back for 3 to 6 months. And then I just thought, right, I've got money in the bank now. I'm not going to waste this opportunity. I'm going to try and find something to do by myself, because I've always had the ambition or the thought that I would have my own business, but I never had the balls to go and do it myself. So COVID happened, I had money in the bank, and I thought, let's try something. I was going to go down, because I'm from a construction background, so I was going to try and go into construction, as in, have you seen them outhouses, the log cabin outhouses? So I was going to go into buying them and making them and selling them, that sort of thing. And then I come across, it was PL I come across on Amazon. I was like, do you know what? I never knew that you could sell on Amazon. I always thought it was Amazon and that was it. I never know you could actually sell and have a business on it. So I done my research on PL. It weren't really for me, and there was a lot of money up front. It was something like, I think the course was like 4,000 or 5,000, and then obviously getting the product from China, and then you don't know if it's going to work unless you've got. The thing is with PL, I'm going on a bit of a tangent here than everywhere, which I normally do anyway, but the thing is with PL, there's no guaranteed success. So then I stumbled across, I remember who I stumbled across first. I'm sure it was Christos. And obviously he was buying, actually, it was a guy called Josh Garrett, and he was just going into B&M and Argos and things like that, and buying products, selling them on Amazon. And I was like, right, I'll give this a go. So I put like 5,000 aside, and I just gave it a go for a month. And then I think the first month, I done like 7,000 in sales. And I was like, wow, this is like amazing. And then it's just sort of spiraled off from there then. Now I've got like 3 VAs. I'm going to hopefully take on a 4th. All my prep is outsourced. I sell on 2 different marketplaces with UK and the US. And yeah, it's been an unbelievable ride, and I'm so sort of passionate about Amazon and what an opportunity it is for people, even if they've got a small amount. I'm not saying start with £100, but if you've got an amount that's just sitting in the bank, it's better for you doing something in something like Amazon rather than just sitting there.
Well, that's great. I started my Facebook group, and you must have only been selling for maybe 3 months, and you were sending some ripples out in the community, and people were quite impressed with your numbers. I know anyone who started and is making nearly 5 figures within a few months it's really impressive, and a lot of people wanted to know what your secrets were. But we can touch on that in a bit. But so what was it initially that made you think, oh, I can definitely make a go of RA and OA over, say, private label or wholesale or anything like that?
I think it's just the hustler in me. I'm from a sales background as well. So, I was doing sales for 3 years. I'm very much, get up and go. I'm very much like, even now, even though everything's outsourced for me, if I come across a deal in Tesco, and I'm like, look, I'm scanning, and it's like 70% ROI. I'm like, yeah, I'll have 10 of them and send them in myself. So I think it's that sort of hustler in me. As soon as I seen what you can do with RA and OA, it just sort of resonated with me, and it really felt right. The thing is, Seth, at the end of the day, there's very minimal risk with OA. With all the softwares we've got out there now, I'm not going to plug any, but with all the softwares out there, with all the graphs that we've got, and obviously we've got years of data, as long as you're looking at the graph and you're using the guidelines, you're not going to go wrong, or hardly ever, unless someone comes along and tanks the listing. So a lot of it for me was risk. Did I really want to risk 10,000 for PL with something? I think I was going to sell key, outside the house, the key boxes. I was going to sell them. And I was like, I haven't got no emotional attachment, or they don't mean anything for me. I think if you're going to sell something PL-wise, I think, you should it should sort of mean something to you. It should be something that you would use every day and stuff like that. So the main thing for me was risk. I didn't want to risk 10,000 or 15,000 of my own money doing PL, and it might not work. Where OA and RA, you can even start it with 1,000, dip your toes in, and then go from there.
No, it makes total sense. So you've mentioned there's good softwares out there, and there's a ton out there. We don't need to plug any, but obviously we all use Keeper. That's a non-negotiable. But you're speaking from a kind of an advanced seller's viewpoint now, and then you think, oh, we've got years of data, and it's easy to look at, but. Yeah. So a lot of people don't find that as easy. A lot of newbies will struggle with the graphs and stuff. So Keeper and other softwares make it for you and I. It makes it seem very easy or simple to do well with RA and OA. But for a lot of people, they look at the graphs and they see all the green squiggly lines and stuff and think that it's baffling, and they don't really know what to do with that info. But you obviously got a knack for it straight away. But what was it in particular that you thought that you like? Why? How did you become a natural at it? Was it because you watched a ton of YouTube videos or read a load of blogs, or because I know you were on the Facebook scene quite soon? Did you just soak up all the Facebook content, or did you just work it out yourself? How did that come about?
What I done was I'm very much do your own research sort of guy. So obviously I watched so many YouTube videos on each specific task. So whether that's how to source OA, whether that's how to read graphs, whether that's how to even add a product and things like that. I didn't do a course, so I got every specific task that was needed, right from, so say from adding a product to labeling a product, wrote all them down, and I watched tons of YouTube videos for each specific task, and not just one YouTuber, because everyone's got their own little kinks, everyone's got their own little ways of doing things, and I've sort of filtered how I wanted to do it from these videos. So I've made my own sort of way. With stuff like analysing products, I use my common sense a lot as well. Not that I've got much of it, but what I was doing, I was working, like literally at the start, because I had nothing else, I was literally just doing this. I worked like a dog, like literally. As soon as I could see stuff was selling, I was like a bull with two horns, you know. I was like, come on, let's make something of this. And I was working 16-hour days, and I was in Tesco's at midnight scanning things. That's what I advise any newbie, and I do tell anyone that I'm sort of mentoring or I'm helping in their journey to go out before you even start, get the Amazon app and scan everything when you're in store. You have a better understanding then of what products, and even using it's not very accurate, the profit and stuff, but even using that, you get more of an idea on what sort of profit you'll be making and understanding ROIs and profit margins. And, you know, ROIs not the same as profit margins and stuff like that. It's all about basically just doing as much research as you can. YouTube, you know, you look at YouTube now. You know, when we were kids, Seth, there was nothing like YouTube is now. Like, you can go on YouTube and say, I've just bought a new steamer for my other business, for my clothing range. And I looked at it and I was like, right, I'll just go on YouTube, how to set up this steamer. And like 10 videos come up. So really utilising stuff like YouTube, utilising stuff like Facebook groups, but going out there and getting in the trenches and doing it yourself as well, and not reliant on other people as much.
I think that's fantastic advice, because it's a mixture of working really hard and doing your research, and it's quite an interesting approach that you took there with YouTubing every single little task. And I think that you've probably got a unique approach because you're willing to put the work in, whereas I think a lot of people want a one-size-fits-all. Maybe they do just want that one YouTuber who's going to give them all the info, but that's quite unlikely to happen, right? But no, that sounds like exactly. I think you've probably given the advice that I'd probably give to other people with regards to just like working hard and applying yourself as well. So you obviously got to a decent level monetarily quite fast. So what made you what turned you on to a VA? Because I always ask this question because I hired my first VA really late into the game, and there's many reasons why, but ultimately I regret. I said
to you many times, you need to get a VA. And you did, where you have now.
Yeah, and now I've got 6. It went from 1 to 6 quite quickly within the space of a year. So and that's really good now. But how early in your journey did you hire your first, and what made you make that decision?
I think I think with me straight away from a sales background, I wanted to eliminate every task that wasn't going to earn me money. So I went for an admin first. So I wanted to get rid of all my mundane tasks that, you know, it's got to be done, daily tasks, it has to be done, that take a lot of your time. I wanted to eliminate them so I could look at the sourcing, the purchasing, the things, in the end of the day, are the things that earn you money. I know obviously the admin is very important, but if you're at the position, you're a start of your business, even if it's 3 months in, and you're making enough money, eliminate them tasks, because you can get someone to do them probably a lot better than you actually doing them yourself, and for a very reasonable amount of money. And it takes that stress away. You know, I haven't done any admin for 15 months now. Nothing. Not one bit. All I get is a KPI every single day from my admin manager. Here's this, here's that. I need help on this. I can go, right, do this, and then they're done. It's a no-brainer. Because there's still, even now, I speak to people and they're like, they're doing crazy numbers, like over 100,000 a year, 200,000 in a year, and they're still doing their bloody admin. And I'm like, what are you playing at? You know, you're not going to get where you want to be if you're still doing your admin, let me tell you.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Likewise, so I was at an Amazon seller conference last weekend, and there was a guy that does like decent seven figures in books actually, and he was saying how he still hasn't outsourced his accounting, and for me that's the sort of task that you want to get rid of straight away. That was actually the first thing that. So you said you had an admin VA. I just got an accountant immediately because I knew that. Because I've been in finance myself, that was just something that A, I didn't want to do, and B, I had no expertise in, even though I've worked in it. So you obviously made a great decision there. So what made you take the step up from, like, when did you then go from an admin VA to then a sourcing VA? I assume that's what you went for. Yeah,
so quite soon after it, really. I think once I had my admin, I was like, well, what else am I doing? Well, I'm spending 5 hours a day trying to find deals. Let's outsource that. So I got 2 sourcing VAs. One's still with me, who I'm going to make a purchasing manager, and I got another one as well. But you know, what I done with them. You know, we like yourself, you use probably Thomas's academy, and what I done. The training's amazing with them, and they come. But I literally spent a lot of time with them after it, getting them up to the standard very quickly. I think, especially, you know, they come at a level of, I'd say, like an intermediate level, which is amazing. 4 weeks training, it's amazing. But after, say, another 2 or 3 weeks hard training, intense, they're up to an advanced, and then you don't even have to sort of worry about the standard of deals then, if you put in that time. And now, with my business, so I've just recently started in the US, so what I've done, I've transitioned one into a sourcing for the US, and obviously I've got one in the UK, which is fine. I'll probably end up bringing another one in each marketplace, maybe. I'll bring more into the US because it's starting to blow my mind, the US marketplaces. So it's such an amazing opportunity to earn a lot of money, as you know, Seth. You know, I think I don't really like plugging numbers, but you know, in my first 30 days, I've done over 10,000. So I'm pretty happy with that. I just think, you know, it's such a massive opportunity, and it's not saturated. There's so many listings. There's like, for each individual product, there's like 6 or 7 listings. So you can really mix it up and you know, and de-risk and just put 10 in one listing, 10 in another, 10 in another. It's mental. It really is mental. So, I'm going to obviously expand my VAs because I really believe if you want a 7-figure business, Amazon business, you have to have a team of VAs doing. You couldn't do all the tasks, finding all the products. The purchasing, for me, doing OA and wholesale, and I do unique bundles as well, the purchasing takes so long. It's like, sometimes I'm like, I hope they have a bad day of sourcing, so I haven't got to purchase anything. But like 9 times out of 10, they'll give me 20 deals, and I'm like, yeah, purchase. So it's quite a lot. So I can't wait to get that outsourced now. She is doing bits and pieces for me already, but again, it's going to have to be another 3 or 4 weeks of intense training to get her up to the standard of, you know, the thing is, you know, obviously because they're from the Philippines, so if they're buying stuff and getting them shipped to the UK, sometimes there's a bit of a language barrier with things, the same as the US. So it's, you know, you're going to need to sort of train them up how they all, they need to be watching you exactly what you're doing for 3 or 4 weeks so they have a better understanding. I think sometimes if they're watching you do a task and not even talking, just watching you do it, they get a better understanding rather than you trying to explain to them. Because I'm Welsh, so my accent's quite strong. Sometimes they're like, what? Like, so sometimes it's better to just make them a video of literally showing them where the mouse goes, typing stuff and things like that. But it's I would give that advice to anyone. If you can afford a VA, start off with an admin, get rid of them tasks, then go on to sourcing VAs. But make sure, if they're coming from an academy, make sure you're giving them an initial training, because the ones that don't succeed, and one of them that didn't succeed with me, I sort of neglected her, which was probably my fault. I didn't give her the training that the other ones had. So she didn't really work out. So the proof is in the pudding there, that if you give them intense training and you really spend the time with them, and they can see exactly what your thought process is when you're analysing deals, where you're getting the deals from, how to find wholesalers, understanding ROIs, understanding profit margins. Because I find with the ones that I've had, they thought the profit margin and ROI were the same thing, and they're total different entities, aren't they? They're totally different things. So just little things like that. But yeah.
No, yeah, thank you for that. That's I totally agree. So I think that I've had to let off two VAs that I hired, and I think on reflection, it was probably because I didn't give them as much attention. And you've been saying how you gave them kind of an intense training, which is great, but there's other ways of doing it, right? So like you say, you can do a video. You could even do a video course for your VAs, which I don't have a full course, but I've kind of got near there or thereabouts. So it means that I don't actually need to face to face with them, but they're still getting the skill set that I want. Obviously, it's never going to be as good as if you are Skype calling them every day. Is that what you were doing? Is that what you were doing? Were you doing kind of quite intensive Skype calls, showing them exactly how you source, what you look for, data points, things like that?
Yeah. So we were doing a Zoom call probably Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and they would be sort of 3-4 hours. The thing that what I like doing, I'm a people's person, I like to get to know someone especially if they're going to work for me, and there's a lot of trust in what we do. We will be giving them our credit card details and our bank details. So you've got to have a relationship with them, not only just ringing them, Zoom calling them once a week and going, oh, how are you getting on? How's your work? Get to know them personally as well, because that goes a long way. Showing interest in their lives, it goes such a long way, because, they actually, they realise that you care for them as well then, but that's what I was doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3-4 hours. Literally, when I was sourcing, they would just watch me source. They would ask questions, and then after say 2 weeks, we would have a week of them sourcing and me watching them, and I could go, I bet that's not really nice of them, by the way, but I was going, I don't like that one. I don't like that one. No, that sort of thing. But it's worked, and they're like superstars now. I hardly have to sort of analyze the deals anymore, because I know they're good. I just literally, half the time, all I'm doing is looking at the buy price, I'm looking at the sell price, and then I'm looking at how many sellers are on it, and then I would look at 90 days of the graph, and just as long as it's not like that, or sometimes if it's like that, yourself, you can sell when it's up there and not down there. But as long as it's not an awful graph in the 90 days, I would just go for it, because I know that they've done the analysis for me.
Nice. I bet their hands were shaking as they were sourcing, and you were looking over their shoulders, as it were.
I think to yourself, Seth, they're so they really want to please you, and you know, it's like we're going to do when the purchasing manager is promoted. Like I discussed the bonus scheme that we're going to do, and you know, she was in tears because the amount that I was going to give her as bonus, that's going to, you know, that's if we hit them targets, her life has changed. You know, she does side hustles herself. She probably won't have to do that then because she'd be earning so much, and especially for where they live, that's like life changing for her and her family. So for me, I'm very much a people person. I like helping people so much. You know, that's what I think has been brought on to this world for, is to help people, and not just business, but I'm a big advocate of mental health and things like that. And for me to give her that opportunity is really fulfilling. It's, you know, it's probably better than making 5,000 profit in a day or something. You know what I mean? It's more fulfilling. So.
Oh, that's awesome, and that's probably what testament to why that you've managed to retain your staff, right? Because I'm sure there's a lot of turnover with most Amazon seller VAs, right? But you've realised that your staff's your most important component if you want to be a digital nomad, like we spoke about yesterday, and travel the world. You need your team you need to have the trust in the team. So you still do the purchasing. I let my team buy all the books because I don't need to look over their shoulder. So is there a particular reason that you still do the purchasing, or?
I just want to train them up, and especially with things like credit cards and, you know, using the correct ones for the correct stores, and top cashback, making sure that they're doing that every day, using Honey Gold and things like that I don't feel comfortable with just sending them a video on how to purchase. My life's pretty mental at the moment with starting up US Amazon. I've got my clothing brand, I've got Amazon UK, so I really want to try and dedicate 2 weeks or a week even to really do the purchasing with her, and then I'll know then, you know, she'll be fine. So it's just I haven't had the time to train them up on it, so it's just easier if I do it. Like we do a lot of she does do some for me, so we've got 2 wholesale accounts that she's got a good relationship with, so she just pings the order through, they send me an invoice and I pay it, and then that's fine. But things like, you know, if we're doing an order on Ocado or Waitrose or Sainsbury's, for instance, you know, it's just better because I use different cards for different ones, like Amex for Sainsbury's and stuff like that. So it's just I haven't really had the time to fully train her up.
That's fair enough. That makes sense. So you mentioned there that you have some wholesale accounts. So is that a significant portion of your business? How did you find those accounts? Did you stumble upon that? Like, if you could explain that a bit, that'd be cool.
Yeah, wholesale. So, you know, I found a lot of the wholesale accounts, and I'm giving a golden nugget here for you, Seth. It's like, I haven't said this before. Right, if you look on barcodes and it's probably obvious to a lot of people, if you look on barcodes, it's always got, or 9 times out of 10, if you look on, I haven't got anything here with a barcode, but it'll give the address of the UK distributor or the UK wholesaler that stocks these items. So if you go into a toy shop, Smith's, and you look at, right, so we're going to look at a Pokemon toy. Oh, this is a really big seller for me. Let's look at that. And it's got on the barcode, 9 times out of 10, it'll say the UK distributor. So what I done was, I don't really do it in the UK now. I used to sell probably 95% toys because I love toys. So what I was doing was I set up a Shopify toy store, just a blanket one, quite a good website. So it looks active. Then what I was doing, I was going around all the toy shops, looking at the barcodes, taking photos, and then what I was doing the research and contacting these wholesalers or distributors. You get rejected a lot, but you then find 1 in 10 is a little golden nugget, and they are the ones that I've still got today. And it's about building a relationship with them, and really, they don't really like Amazon sellers. That's why I've set up a Shopify store. So my big thing is, for anyone that wants to set up a wholesale account, never say you're an Amazon seller. They'll just go, yeah, go away, mate. We sell on Amazon ourselves. So if you're really smart about it and you've got a good store, you've got a prep center, you've got a space that they can deliver pallets to, and you've got a good relationship with them, or you're starting to build a good relationship, you're more likely to get them. And that's how I got them, all of them. I think one of them, someone else found for me. One of my friends, who's not even an Amazon seller, I seen a lorry. He was working in, I think it was Leicester. He was working in Leicester, and he said, I keep seeing these lorries, these wholesale lorries. I'm not going to give the name of the wholesaler, because it's my top wholesaler. I keep seeing these lorries. I don't know what they're selling, but there must be about 6 or 7 going to this massive factory or this warehouse, which I now know is a prep center. And he said, well, this is the name of it. So I contacted them. I said, I'm a reseller and stuff. I just built up a good relationship with them, and they didn't even mind that I was an Amazon seller, to be honest. But now that's like probably where I buy a lot of my stuff. I've just started buying for like the bundles that I'm doing on the UK market and I'm using their products and stuff like that. So yeah, it's that's what I would say, is look at the barcodes, and then look when you're on the motorway, look at the lorries, because sometimes you'll see wholesale lorries and it'll say on there, and it'll give you a number. Ring, and that's another thing. Never email. Always, if there's a number there, ring and speak to someone. Ask to speak to the sales manager, the account manager. That first contact with them, you want it to be more personal. You want it to be, hi, this is Luke from whatever my name is, whatever my company name is. I'd just like to open up an account with yourselves. What's the process? And then you've got that initial first contact, rather than writing a scripted, mundane email. Hello, you're just going to be like, disregard that, get that away from me. First contact has got to be over the phone.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Who's going to reply? I mean, I'd like to know how many people have opened good wholesale accounts with an email, right? It's probably less than 0.1%. So no, I think you've given us some real gold nuggets of wisdom there that I hadn't thought of. I mean, thing is, it seems obvious to look at barcodes or look at lorries, but it's not necessarily, is it? That I hadn't thought of that. It's maybe sometimes the things hiding in plain sight that are good ways of finding profitable relationships. So is it in your, I know you said you've got a lot going on with clothing brand, opening up in US. I forgot to say congratulations on the first 30 days, 10K, that's amazing.
Thanks, man.
But so would you want to expand wholesale at all, or is your focus mainly on growing the US OA and your clothing brand, or like what are your focuses for this year?
So my bread and butter is Amazon. If I'm honest, Seth, I started my clothing brand 6 months ago, and I neglected Amazon for 3 or 4 months, and it really affected the performance, because I wasn't, even though the girls are doing an amazing job, I weren't having time to do the purchasing, so it was just going nowhere. It was stalemating, and I sort of sat back and I was like, right, how am I going to earn my wages? How am I going to earn, how am I going to keep growing this? Or, what's going to be, because I think you should have one main focus. Like, my clothing brand is my passion. what I've always wanted to do. This is something that it's going to take me 5 to 10 years to get it where I want it to go. But with Amazon, you know, you could, if you really put your mind to it and you've got the capital, you can do $1 million. I could do $1 million this year, no doubt about it, if I've got the capital and I've got the right mentality. So what was the question again?
The question was, no, that's great. It was because you've obviously got a few things. You've got a few things on your plate. You're spinning a few plates, spinning a few balls, whatever. Like, what is your? And then I was asking, would you want to dive deeper into wholesale? Because you've clearly got a bit of a knack for it. So what's what are your plans? What's your main focus for this year?
Yeah, my main focus is growing the US, bring in the unique bundles that I've had that are successful in the UK over to the US, and really grow in the US with wholesale and OA. I'd really like to do $1 million this year, but I set a target at $500,000, and I should definitely get there. Even though we're, you know, in April now, I can just see if I smash it for the last 2 quarters of the year, you could probably make that then. But that's my main focus is, so I've got a tier system now. It's like 70% Amazon US. I've got 20% Amazon UK, 10% the clothing brand. So that's my thought process on where I can see me earning the most money in the short term.
Sounds like a smart system to have, and you've obviously seen the craziness of the US market. It's I don't know how different it is actually from OA in the UK to OA in the US versus books in UK to US, because books in the UK is, you can make money, but when you look in the US market, it's like 10x, maybe 20x. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Is it? Would you say it's similar with OA that you found? Like, what sort of proportion difference? That much?
Mate, I don't want to give like what I'm selling, but I'm like selling things and you're getting them from, use an example here. What store can I use as an example? Walmart, for instance. And you're finding products, but most sellers will look at, right, oh, there's the listing there. Right, oh no, there's so many sellers on there, the profit's not great. If you dive deeper into it, look further down the page, there's probably another 3 or 4 different listings where you can make equally as good money, well, even better money, really, because they're probably slower listings, but the profit's ridiculous on some of the stuff. It's like mind-blowing. Like, I was getting mind-blown when I started the UK, and I was like, what? People are buying Kellogg's bran flakes for 11 quid, and I can buy them for £1. But in America, it's like 5x that. It's like, you know, buying some sort of confectionery, chocolate, and you bundle them together. Not a unique bundle, but just a bundle of like 6. And you're paying like $6, and they're selling for like $39.99 and stuff. And it's like, what's going on here? You know, surely you. I don't want to put people off buying from Amazon, but sometimes you think surely it's easier if you go down the shop and buy it. But people are lazy. People just want it dropped off to the door. You know, people don't mind paying 50, 100% more than what they would pay in a shop to get it to their door the next day, so they haven't got to leave the house. It's absolutely mental. Like, I want to go into more higher price stuff, because I'm working on to get the capital to go into it, because I think you need a little bit more. But I'm seeing deals, and I'm like, you know, you're buying something for 100 and you sell it for 300, and they're selling 50 a month, 100 a month. And that's on, you know, Buybot Pro. So, and not, you know, it's probably double that, you know? So it's mental is the one word answer. One word for the US is mental.
Yeah, it's crazy, and you can't explain it. Like you were trying to explain away some of the reasons why people spend silly money on things that are way cheaper just down the road. But there's some things that we just can't explain. Like for example,
No.
you said about how people want the next day delivery and stuff, but you can probably get that on others. You can probably get that on Walmart. For example, the other
Yeah.
day I sold a book for $200, FBA obviously. And
Yeah.
there's an FBM copy on the listing for $25, and it's in the same condition. So it's just what world are we living in? And also I wanted to ask you. So a lot of people seem to be put off by moving to the US, but it's quite easy to set up, right? Did you find it difficult? Were there any obstacles for you setting up?
No, I had a lot of help from a US seller to set up, but it was pretty easy. I got a prep center in Denver, so it was just really easy. The transition was, I set up with you before. Remember I was going to do books, weren't I? And that, I'd nearly done the setup anyway, so I sort of knew what I had to do, what I had to sign up for, and I already had a US account set up that I put on holiday. So all I had to do was, get it off holiday and find a prep centre and do all the tax obligations and all that sort of thing. But it was fine, it was no different to setting up in the UK.
Probably a bit easier, actually.
Yeah, I think the UK, do you know what, right? The VAT and stuff, and it's so overcomplicated over here, when you're doing your self-assessment, and I just done my self-assessment now, and I'm like, this is so overcomplicated, it's like little segments or sections of, it's just filled, they just fill in stuff, they just put in stuff on there to make it seem like it's a lot more than it actually is. And it's like, some of the stuff on there, by the way, I don't even know some of the words. And it's like, basically, it's how much you earn, how much your expenses is, and things like that, and any loan or whatever. But it's definitely, that's the one thing I hate about the UK and living here is they overcomplicate everything, and you get penalised here for doing well, which is one of the reasons why I want to leave and go and live a digital nomad life, because come away from all of this politics and all of this bad until it's run a bit better, because hopefully the next person comes in and starts making changes. But anyway, we're not on a politics. We're not having breakfast with Andrew Marr. This is a podcast for Seth.
No, but I'm glad that you touched on the digital nomad thing, because we spoke offline on Facebook Messenger yesterday, and I didn't realise it was kind of a plan or a goal of yours this year to do the digital nomad thing. And I know people listening, a lot of people like maybe stuck in a 9 to 5, and that's their dream, to be traveling the world and working from the laptop. So you were saying that you've got a couple of things that you need to tie up here. Is there anything else that's holding you back? Like, do you feel like you need to shore up any of your business more, or are you just like ready to go? And if you are, where do you want to go?
I wouldn't say anything business wise. Like my mother, I employ my mother a couple of days a week. So she looks after the shipping and everything for my clothing brand. When I get new stuff in, she'll take it to the printers and things like that. So that side of it, there's nothing. The only thing that's holding me back really is I'm selling my apartment, which is one. So that's going on the market. The reason why I'm selling is because what I bought it for and what it's selling for now, I'd be silly not to sell it. So that is something, and I haven't got any overheads, I haven't got any worries when I'm away, when someone's renting. Oh, Luke, if I'm in Mexico, I got a tenant texting me saying the boiler's broke. And I'm like, oh, I got to get a plumber. I just want to get rid of it. And yeah, I think the only thing that's holding me back, like I've lived abroad before. I've lived in Italy, I've lived in Germany, is family, really. I'm very close to my mother, and I miss my dog. But they're the only things. But I'm 32 now, so if I don't do it now, I might never do it. So I definitely want to do 9 to 12 months, and hopefully I can do it, and then I can shut Thomas Parkinson up, because he's always on at me for doing it. He's always like, well, when are you going and stuff, and yeah. So I definitely want to come out to Mexico. I definitely want to do Southeast Asia, South America as well. I hopefully want to do, not that big on Australia. I'd like to visit, but it's not somewhere that I'd like to go and stay for 6 months. New Zealand, I'd love to do that. I really like the thought of living in Southeast Asia, though, because it's just a total different way of life to what we've got, and it's so out of your comfort zone. And when I'm out of my comfort zone, I sort of thrive. So I really think, it would be a good thing for my businesses if I went out there, because I'd have sort of no distractions. Because, as you know, Seth, when you live in the UK and you've got friends, you've got family, it is distracting sometimes, because when you really want to knuckle down and really take your business to the next level, you've always got a family party, or you've always got a wedding, or you've always got someone asking you to go out for food when you really want to knuckle down. And I think when you're living away and you've got no distractions, I think that is when you will see an evolution of your business. But I always get people, you say about the 9 to 5, people hate their 9 to 5. But the thing that I always say to people is, what are you doing to get out of it? And 99 people out of 100 are not doing anything. So how do you expect to change that and get out of your 9 to 5 if you're not doing anything towards it? I'm a big advocate on getting out of your 9 to 5, being in charge of your own destiny. It is hard running your own businesses, but it's so rewarding. Like, if you wanted, you could, especially with a team in place, you could go to the Maldives for 2 weeks, not turn your laptop on, and sit in a hammock if you wanted to, It's obviously, you can do that with a 9 to 5, but you can do that 6 or 7 times a year if you wanted to. So that's the big thing for me, is trying to really put my point out there that, okay, if you're unhappy in your 9 to 5, start doing stuff to get out of it. Like, even if it's stuff like reselling, even if it's stuff like buying stuff on Currys and selling them on eBay, whether it's going to yard sales and finding, like what Gary Vee talks about quite a lot, going to yard sales, picking something up for 20 quid and selling it for 200. Then start like that, and also do stuff that you're interested in and you've got passion for, because there's no point starting something if you're not passionate about it, because you're not going to work out.
Great advice. Totally agree on that. And that's probably why I didn't do private label, because I couldn't think of a product that I would really want to get after and be really passionate about. But so on the trend of kind of quitting 9 to 5 and like people wanting to start out in business, I was just wondering if you rewound the clocks back to, say, August 2020 when you started on Amazon, would you do anything differently? And if so, what would that be?
I'd probably start on the US market and not UK, to be honest, because I probably would have. I think I'd done near enough 300,000, just under, in my first 12 months. In the UK, I could have definitely done 1 million probably on the US. So that's the only thing that I sort of regret. But maybe starting on the US and not knowing anything would have been too much. So who knows? Perhaps I wouldn't have made a success of it.
Yeah, no, that's super interesting. But it sounds like you've taken the trajectory the right way, in terms of you've built a team early, you've retained your staff. They probably like working for you if you but by the sounds of it, it sounds like you're a good boss. So
Yeah.
like, it sounds like you've done well there. So do you think you will ever get to a point where you just won't even sell in the UK and you'll just focus on the US?
Yeah, that's my aim, I think. I think selling on the US and then maybe bringing out some PL in the US. I've got some ideas that I want to do. And then, yeah, I honestly think that this is the way to go. I don't know if I could just let my UK Amazon just go. You know, I might sort of just do, I don't know. I really need to think about it because they're two separate accounts. So it'd be stupid to just shut one because if they, for you know what Amazon's like, if they shut my account, deactivate it, or they cancel it at any point, at least they've got the other one. So maybe I'll just keep selling my replens on the UK market, but it's a lot more admin, you know. It's a lot more like you've got to worry about doing your VAT return then, and you know, even though you do when you've got a UK company, but it's just, but there is good opportunity on there, especially if you do it. You're not just looking at the norm anymore. I don't think you can, but it's harder now to go to buy from Tesco's or Asda and make a business from it. I think it's sort of Amazon sort of evolving into having your brand on there. So that's what I would like to do, is have a brand, sell PL, sell unique bundles, as well as doing my wholesale and OA. And I to be honest, mate, I just enjoy sourcing in the US stores a lot more than UK. It's just because I've never sourced in them before, so all these stores are like, I don't even know some of them, and I'm like, oh, this is great. It's not just sourcing in fucking curries. Sorry, can you swear? in curries or Argos or anything. It's more fun, and I just think it's much bigger opportunity and less chance of it getting flooded like the UK. But if you're a newbie, definitely start on the UK. And you know, if you get to a stage, then you can do pan-European again now. You know, so there's a lot of people earning a lot of money doing pan-European. So there's so much opportunity. You can sell on the Australian market now. You can sell in Japan, in China, and anywhere. You know, there's so much opportunity here. If you start one business, you could end up with 5 different businesses selling in Australasia, selling, you know, America, selling. They even sell in the Middle East now, in Europe, in the UK. There's so much opportunity there, and I'm just a massive advocate of Amazon. You know, it's really helped me with entrepreneurship. It's really helped me take the next leap. You know, take that leap from working for someone. I'll never ever work for anyone ever again in my life, by the way. It's really helped me on my journey, and now I've got a brand. You know, I've got an actual physical clothing brand which is doing really, really well, and that's all things that I've learned from my Amazon journey, because you know, I knew about sales, I knew about sort of management because I manage people, but the nitty gritty of running a business is all from Amazon.
Yeah, that's awesome. Just goes to show that you need to just get stuck in. And it's a good point that you said maybe it's good to start in the UK, right? Because there's actually there's probably like less stores to source from, so it makes it a little bit easier for a newbie, rather than in the US you've got, say, thousands, and you probably think, well, which one should I go for? But I know you're a bit pressed for time, but could we touch on your clothing brand a bit, actually? Because
20 minutes or something, half hour, that's fine.
Oh, cool. So I'm always intrigued by, because I've only done Amazon as a business, really, and a little bit of kind of affiliate marketing as well. I wouldn't know where to start with a clothing brand, for example. Like, do you want to just explain kind of like why you started it and how you got it kicked off, and then how you market it as well? Because that's just interesting for me to know.
Right. So I started it. I actually started it with Hayden. So we started it together. which it's just me now basically. So it wasn't for Hayden, but we started it as a sort of sustainable fitness clothing brand. For me, it's really close to my heart, and I do get quite emotional, but I'm so passionate about it because I've never, like, if you look at the fitness industry, right, it's the 1% of humanity that they've got modelling. It is a little bit better these days, but in the last 10 years, when you go on Instagram, it's the 1% of people. It's the people with big muscles. It's the people with toned bodies. And there isn't a clothing brand out there that is catering for the nurses that work 16 hours a day. Isn't people that have got, disabilities. It isn't for people that are obese. So I wanted to create something that was for the 100% of people, because I've never had abs, really. I have, but you can't really see them now because I got tattoos, but I've never had big muscles. I'm 5'6", I'm short. I'm not in the 1%. And I wanted to bring something out there that I would be proud of wearing, and 100% of people would be proud of wearing. Another big thing for me is sustainability and using organic materials, which I'm really proud to say that we're 100% sustainable and organic now. So we use the best materials, the best cotton. We work with the good, the best brands, and we will only work with the UK-based brands. We, from an ethical point of view, it has to be, top quality. The staff have to be, it has to be made in an ethical way, basically. I'm not interested in going to China, buying products from there. I want it to be a UK-based brand, buying from the UK, and selling from the UK worldwide. So I think from a marketing point of view, at the start, it's about building the brand. It's about building the brand identity, the story, so people can relate to it. It's about having your core values and really, really sticking to them. Like, our core values are sustainability, equality, quality, and community. So they're all 4 things that we live and die by. And it's about, obviously, your social medias have got to be on point. Ours is still not nowhere near the standard that we want them to be, but we've actually got a shoot on the weekend that we're doing loads of content for, and so it will transform our website and our social media. But the main thing is, for me, is connecting with people, and helping people on their journey, whether that is helping someone leave the house for the first time because they're suffering from mental health, and our brand and them wearing our hoodies because they know what we stand for makes them happy and they can leave the house. It's about new PBs in the gym. It's about taking the dog for a walk, even after a hard day's work. It's connecting people on a deeper level and trying to inspire people. And like I said earlier, I was a big advocate on mental health, and we're gonna obviously portray that a lot for our brand, because there isn't a brand out there really in the sports industry that really focus on that. And I think myself, I've had friends and I've had friends that have committed suicide. I've had family members that are depressed. I've suffered with mental health myself in my younger years, and I'm such a massive advocate on that. And if I could create something that is the brand that is associated in a good way with mental health, it would just mean everything to me. It would mean more than if I had even $100 million business on Amazon. You know, that representation of something that's really close to my heart would mean the world.
That sounds amazing. Yeah, I had no idea, but yeah, it's good because the Gymsharks of this world, as you say, it's not even the 1%, is it? It's the 0.1%, and it's the 0.1% that not only are genetically very, like, they've been very lucky genetically, they're probably on steroids as well.
Yeah,
and then they're portraying this image that this is possible for everyone, and like, I know after going to the gym for 10 years that even if I watch every single gram of broccoli go into my mouth and chicken, and that's all I eat, and like I don't drink, I'm still not going to look anything like them. So it's nice that you've got a bit of a vision there, a lifestyle vision that's promoting sustainability, and it's a brand kind of for the masses who can't get to that Instagram level that's quite toxic, really. I mean, I try not to even use Instagram because of it. Because
do you know what I find? I want, like, for me, I don't think in our generation as much. It wasn't much. We weren't really looking at. I don't think Instagram was that big when we were like teenagers. Really, was it? I don't even think it was there then. But so we didn't have these images that we were trying. So I'm just thinking of girls that are 16 to 18 or whatever, or 14 or 13. They're looking at these women, and then they're looking in the mirror and they're like, well, I don't look like that. I'm not good enough. And the big message from us is that we try and portray is you are good enough, and, you know, because you look different, looking different is unique, and being unique is great, you know? So it's just from a personal point of view, it's really close to my heart, because I've had medical issues when I was younger. I've got a curvature of the spine, and I've got 2 ways, and I've got my left side is a lot weaker than my right because of the what's it called, the responses, or brain responses or something. Anyway, but I don't let that get me down anymore. And when I was a teenager and early 20s, I used to be really bad, and I used to let it get to me. But now I'm sort of like, you get one life. It doesn't matter if it don't look the same as everyone else. As I said, being unique is far better than looking like a sheep, you know? It's what makes you you, and that's beautiful.
No, that's powerful. It just made me think that also, not only have you got the genetics of steroids, they're probably photoshopping their Instagram posts too, but all the filters and all that. But aside from that, so you're combating that, and I'm getting the passion coming through, and it's amazing. But how are you actually getting eyes on your website and on your social media pages? Are you doing paid ads and stuff like that? Or?
No paid ads. I got stung. I'm actually going to slag someone off, actually. So this is a bit of exclusive as well. If you've got a clothing brand, listen, you might have to like script this or whatever, take this out, cut this out, and put it into your social media. Do not use Yell advertisement company, Yell, right? They are the worst and the biggest shower of shit I've ever used in my life. They done Google ads for me for 2 months, and I was paying £888 a month, right, for Google ads. Do you know how many sales I had from 2 months of using this platform, of using them?
5?
2.
Oh, 2.
It was £888 a sale. Do you know how much? So that was like, each sale, say it was like 50 quid, it was like 838 quid in debt, basically, in a loss. So what I done then was, I was in a bit of a dispute with them. I thought I should have my money back. Basically, them being Yell, bigger company, they don't care about the smaller companies. so they won't give me my money back. They told me you're not guaranteed sales, and I'm like, I done Facebook ads myself for a week, and I had 17 sales, and I spent like 50 quid. I was like spending £10 a day, and I made 17 sales. I only done that because I don't think as a business we are ready for advertisement and Facebook ads, because we get enough traffic as it is from our Instagram and our Facebook, and obviously local sales and South Wales, and it's doing quite well in South Wales. You know, I put like little stories up on Instagram. We've got 5 available. They normally go like that. So for me, from an inventory point of view, I don't think we're ready for Google Ads, because I don't want to put Google Ads on it and then we sell out straight away, and we haven't got no stock. So I think that will be the next step, is utilising Facebook ads. I'm not even bothering with Google anymore. Google, for me, I think is ancient. Obviously, everyone goes on Google, but 9 times out of 10, if you're, so for instance, Seth, right? If you're buying some new clothing, if you, like for me, I buy clothing when I go on Instagram and I see, oh, this is nice. I go, and then I go and buy it, just out of instinct, really. So I'm going to utilize Instagram. I'm going to utilize TikTok. So I'm actually going to hopefully bring someone on board to run my TikTok account and run my TikTok ads. I'm actually speaking to them at the moment. But that would be more of a, they're going to buy into the business, or they're going to have shares into the business, rather than me paying them a wage. That gives them then, if I give them 20% or 10%, that gives them the incentive then to get loads of sales, because obviously they're going to get a share of the profits. So I'm going to do it that way. I think TikTok, I think Pinterest is going to be a good one as well. That sort of, not many people look at that, and Pinterest is, if you're looking for a tattoo or you're looking for new clothes, normally you go on Pinterest. I'd like to start selling the stuff when we get more of a name for ourselves. I'd like to start selling the stuff on Amazon as well, but that's probably a long way off yet. But to answer your question, it's Instagram is probably where we get 95% of the sales at the moment, and it's trying to do a post a day, but the main thing is stories and reels. Reels do really well. I really need to start focusing a bit more of my time, or maybe bring someone in to be in charge of doing reels and in charge of posting and things like that, because it takes a lot of time to start doing reels, and you know, you're editing them and things like that. That's what sort of puts you off. But they're so powerful, man. I swear. You put a reel up of a new product line. Like I put a photo up of our new oversized, and I think of t-shirts, the new oversized t-shirts. I think I sold like 12 in the first hour. People saying, "Oh, can you hold these for me? Can you hold these for me? Can you use the size?" So I got like 15 that are already sold now. So it's just like things like that. But I think as soon as I do Facebook ads, I think it's just going to be a next level again. And I'm going to need 20, 30 of each size and everything like that. So it's going to be a lot more of an investment again to what I've already done. So
okay, so you're kind of looking at building a really core customer base based off organic reach at the moment, which makes sense, right?
Yeah. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay a marketer to do organic marketing and trying to build our Instagram higher with like for like and commenting and engaging with potential clients, potential customers even. So I want to do it that way. I want to do it organic, because at the end of the day, if I start doing Google ads or Facebook ads, costs a lot of money, and if I haven't got the stock to obviously to combat that, there's no point doing it. So we've started quite small. We've got, I think we'll have like between the men's and the women's like 15 lines, and we've only got 5 or 6 of each size, so, and each colour. So we are looking to go into the next level, but I don't want to rush it. It's a massive 5-10 year plan for me, and it's got to be right. I want to sell things. I want to make it, but like what I started at the start, I got pound signs and in my eyes. I was like, I come away from the sustainability for the first. We've only just gone fully sustainable, because I had things like hats, had things like crop tops and leggings and shorts for the women's, and they weren't sustainable. And I thought to myself, why am I doing this? This is not what I started this for. So, like, I've done a power sale now. I've sold everything that's sustainable and sustainable, and now I've just bought new sustainable stuff. It might be a little bit more expensive, not that much more expensive, but then if you're sustainably minded, you don't mind paying that little bit extra.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's, I'm definitely up for spending more. I'll have to buy some when I'm back in the UK, because I don't want to pay international shipping, and it's probably too hot to be wearing what you're wearing. But but when you mentioned the 5-10 year goal, I thought that'd be a great way to finish the podcast on my final question. So we're cool if so. What are your either 5 or 10, or you can do both? Like, if we sat down in 5 years, April 2027 or April 2032, but where would you like to see the clothing brand?
Clothing brand, I want it to be on a level to something like Gymshark. I want it to be, everyone knows it. Everyone knows what we're standing. We stand for. But the main thing is, for me, is that we've helped thousands of people on their journey. It's all about selling clothes, but it would mean more to me to help someone on their journey rather than selling clothes, if you know what I mean. So I want it to be a massive community full of people helping each other. If they've had a bad day and really picking them up from it. So I want it to be a worldwide brand and not just a clothing brand. I want it to be advocate of mental health. I want it to be a community, basically, of people that are as passionate as me about what we stand for.
I love it. I'm sold on the vision. I'm part of the team. What's the clothing brand called, by the way?
Optimus U. So Optimus is the Latin word for best. So it's the best version of you. So the best version of yourself, basically, is what we stand for. And helping people achieve that.
Very cool. Well, so thank you very much for that, and thank you for being so generous with your time. If people want to pick your brain, ask you anything, we'll obviously put links in the notes for your clothing brand and your, whatever else you want to share. But where can people find you?
So my Instagram is probably easiest to do it on the Instagram, because I never look on Facebook anymore. So my Instagram is Luke Colwell 77. I am thinking about doing something, whether it's mentorship or something along them lines, because that's the one thing that I really want to do, is really help people in business as well, achieve what they want to achieve. Not some sort of guru sort of thing, or if you have a £2,000 course, you can earn 100,000, but really trying to help people on their journey, and I'm really, really passionate about that. So just give me a message on Instagram, and give us a follow. My clothing brand is on Instagram. It is, I should know these off by heart really, but Optimus U Gymwear.
Cool. All right, listeners, go and buy a t-shirt or a hoodie or a cap
Actually,
or whatever.
we could do a little Seth. We could do a little Seth discount code. So if you want to buy anything on the website, use the code Seth10 now.
Yeah, awesome. I want some of those sustainable affiliate dollars. Sounds
yes,
good.
I'll send you some.
All right, nice one. Thanks very much again, Luke, and I'll speak to you soon.
Cheers, bud. Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning into the show. If you've made it this far, you may as well leave this video a like if you've been watching on YouTube. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for future episode updates. Or if you've been listening on Apple Podcasts, it would be absolutely amazing if you could leave us a review, as that makes a world of difference. Thank you again, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao for now.